Now, something else you might not have heard is that speaking of realism, some of the...
You can't even do it, can you? You're doing good, man. Hey, listen, I'm impressed over here. What? I mean, what's going on?
Top 10 facts about Face Off.
I have 12.
For number 10, casting calls. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone were originally in mind for the leads. John Woo was instrumental in the decision for it to be John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. It is as hard to imagine Arnold doing Stallone as it is Stallone doing Arnold. But if you also notice here, when we were doing the Connects thing, I just mentioned this, and that's what made it crazy to me as I did the research, was that I've talked to you about the movie Escape Plan, which stars who? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. That's an expendable fact that you need to know. See what I did there?
I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger was in Escape Plan.
He was, and when I go back and edit this, you're going to be made a fool.
All right, now what you may not have also known is that others considered for Archer and Caster were Harrison Ford and Michael Douglas, who actually signed on as a producer, Bruce Willis and Alex Baldwin, Al Pacino and Bobby De Niro, Jean-Claude Van Damme, JCVD, and...
Wait a minute, hold on. Did you just say Al Pacino and Robert De Niro?
I did.
Because there's a flip side to that coin.
What's the flip side?
I just wanted to say that.
Oh, don't take my lines.
Right, I don't take lines. Okay, never mind.
JCVD and Steven Seagal, Denzel and Wesley Snipes. Patrick Swayze was also considered for one of the leads.
What, are they just going to let Patrick play himself? They couldn't find anybody to play Patrick.
Yeah, no one can play the opposite of Swayze.
Hey, you're right about that. That's crazy.
Don't get lazy on Swayze.
You won't. Now, John Woo chose Gina Gershon, who you mentioned earlier with your New Orleans accent, based on her performance in Bound.
Chow Yun Fat was originally
Come back
rumored.
again?
Chow Yun Fat was originally.
Come back again?
Chow Yun Fat was originally rumored to have the role that ultimately went to Margaret Cho.
Now, Joan Allen, no relation to Tim Allen, was John Woo's first choice for Eve, against the studio's wishes to go with someone younger.
Now, what you may not have known is that Mark Wahlberg turned down the role for Alex Troy.
And what you did not know, because I said it earlier, is that Mark Wahlberg also played a version of the Punisher. Now, Juliana... Please.
Margulies.
Well, I'm glad you know. That means you actually read the notes. Thank you. Juliana Margulies turned down the role of Sasha Hassler due to the schedule conflicting with her commitments to ER.
Jennifer Tilly was also considered for the role of Sasha.
Oh, she was hot. Listen, 187, Murder, Death, Kill, that's how I feel. That was one of your best lines ever. Demolition Man director Marco Brambilla was originally signed on to direct the film.
Now, what do you think the seashells were all about?
I still do not know to this day, because there's no comfortable way. It's like, oh, you know what? I call it that nasty shit that people that eat at parties.
Number 9. Don't uncage Cage's rage. Nicolas Cage's birthday fell on a production day. John Woo let him get all pumped up for a scene and then surprised him with a birthday cake. Afterwards, Cage asked Woo not to do that again, as if his birthday would come around again during the production. For Woo's birthday, Nicolas Cage gave him a Dirty Harry poster signed by Clint Eastwood, a hero of Woo's.
Nicolas Cage didn't want to see
where the D is.
Keep saying dick, boy. You get it together, Royal. Nicolas Cage didn't want to see the grotesque face makeup, so John Woo hit all the reflective surfaces on set.
Bra, fucking bra.
You have some numbers in here. Clearly, they're longitude and latitude. He also said that He also said that the lifelike dummies, shit me. He also said that the lifelike dummies made of him for the transplant scene were terrifying to look at it.
They made a clone of me, which is terrifying to look at. You could trip out on it. It breathes and it twitches its face, and it's amazing.
The only lifelike dummy I like to see of myself is the mirror.
There you go.
Number 8, Slash the Slash. The studio insisted that John Woo take the slash out of the title, but he chose to keep it in out of fear that people might think it was a hockey movie.
Why the hell would someone think that? All right. Number 7, stunts. Most of the movie stunts were done without the use of special effects. Well, clearly. According to Barry M. Osborne, most of the challenging action scenes were intended to be green screen, but were ultimately filmed practically, which they shouldn't have been, to support the realism. That's funny.
Now, something else you might not have heard is that speaking of realism, some of the...
You can't even do it, can you? You're doing good, man. Hey, listen, I'm impressed over here. What? I mean, what's going on?
Because I just realized that you go into the preamble statement before. Like, something else that you may not have heard is, speaking of realism.
Hey, I'm in care. I'm method acting over here.
Some of the prisoners are actual ex-convicts recruited by John Woo. And the prison was a little too real, if you might say, for many people catching the flu during the production due to its dirty conditions.
Dirty conditions. All right. Number 6, In the Blood. Archer and Castor's blood types are symbolic for who their characters are. Archer is type O negative, the universal donor, reflecting his role as being selfless. Castor is A, B positive, the universal recipient, someone who takes from society without giving anything back.
That's true.
Thank you. I mean, thanks.
I'm black.
I know.
You're red.
I'm left wing. Sound facts. This was composer John Powell's first movie. He is a student of Hans Zimmer.
John Woo was adamant about including Somewhere Over the Rainbow in the film. When the studio declined to fork out the money for the licensing, John Woo went out of his own pocket for it, eventually to be reimbursed after the box office success of the film. Little bonus connection, it is Olivia Newton-John's rendition of Over the Rainbow, and she, of course, sang in another movie with John Travolta, Grease.
When I saw that, when I wrote that, I knew it had to be something because as we did our rewatch, and I was just like, you know what? Sometimes you'll hear a score in the background, but it wasn't in the background. It screamed, "I paid for this myself." It is like blaring.
Dude, why don't you save it for later, then shave it for later, Gator?
I have no idea what's happening right now, but I like it. All right. Shave it for later, Gator. Gina Gershon, in my royal voice here, told John Woo that she wanted to shave her head, non-American History X style, for the role. He didn't like that idea. Nick Casavante surprised Woo with a shaved head. He loved it.
Number 3, Anniversary. The production happened exactly 20 years after the film that put John Travolta on the map, Saturday Night Fever, and in the same studio.
I wonder what movie took him off the map. Number 2, Face / because they made him take out the title off again, not a hockey movie. Talks of a sequel were happening as late as October 2021 with co-writer, try to fuck me up there. Sometimes I just write really fast at night. My fingers are moving fast, and I'm smoking a lot of cigarettes and drinking coffee. Well, actually, I'm taking coffee and drinking chocolate milk while putting Adeline to bed. Simon Barrett stating that Face Off 2 is still moving forward with him and director Adam Wentworth currently in the latest rewrite of the script, and they are really excited about the direction that they're taking, but clearly I don't hear any actors attached to it. They're moving ahead. Some Matrix thing, like the studio's going to do it without us. Let's go, man. You're doing good, man.
Number 1, I want to see that movie. To prepare for the roles of each other, Nicolas Cage and John Travolta spent 2 weeks together before production began to learn how to play each other, deciding on specific gestures and vocal cadences for each character that could be mimicked. And I want to see that movie. Those are the top 10 facts about Face Off. Not 12, not 8, 10.
The only interesting thing about that would be is if they did do a sequel to the movie, it would be that both of them survive, but they you know how like you in too deep, you go like undercover, but you don't want to come from undercover. Like they both want to be each other now. Like they enjoy playing the role so much that John Travolta wants to be Castor Troy now, and Castor Troy wants to be Sean Archer.
If the movie were released today, I think that it would be they would have put out a companion reality series that documented John Travolta and Nicolas Cage's time together, and that would have been the best documentary.
Well, I'll just say this: that Face Off is the second best version of someone I've seen playing someone else, because what we're doing right now, they only spent 2 weeks together. We've been doing this for almost 15, 16 years here, so they can't do us. We're real.